today everyone. Here I'll tackle the module 4 of module constitutional correction. The module 4 is all about institutional based corrections, structures, management, standards, programs and services in the Philippines. So the slides has the Bureau of Corrections, RA 10575, custody, security and control of prisoners, care and treatment of prisoners, release of prisoners, good conduct, time allowance, prohibited acts subject to disciplinary actions, BJMP, the RA 6975, Republic Act 9263, and the treatment of special needs or of unusual offenders, emergency plans, movement, transfer of prisoners, detainees, privileges of detainees and sentenced prisons, the regional rehabilitation centers for youth, the Child and Youth Welfare Code, the death row, and the rule of the writ of amparo. So the prison of today have vastly evolved from the prisoners of yesteryears. The prisons of the past were characterized by extreme cruelty and brutalization of those who have the unfortunate of being caught on the wrong side of the law. The principal purpose of a prison in the past used to be custodial so that vengeance and punishment can be exacted from the convict by the state. The motive behind this is not only to get even with the offender for this non-conformism, but also to serve as deterrents to others to follow in the dictates of the rulers or suffer in the ignominious fate. As the human rights movement grew stronger over the years and the winds of democratic changes swept the world, innovations were slowly and gradually introduced little by little. Some semblances of service and inmate improvement programs were adopted. Today, prisons focusing on custody and security with little services are gone, except those for maximum prisons where a small number of obstinate inmates considered by the establishment rulers as ultra dangerous and high risk are housed. But even these prisons, the inevitable march toward treatment, rehabilitation, and reformation is going on. Even though the role of the prisons a long time ago has remained the same as the raison d'etre of today's prisons, the methods used to deal with society's non-conformist is very different. Today, government have no choice but to follow the dictates of international bodies such as the United Nations. The rich and powerful criminals can get away from the long arms of the law by buying their way out, while the poor, who are most often innocent, are sent to prisons. The two systems-based approach to corrections. As one of the pillars of criminal justice system, the Philippine correction pillars at present has two system-based approaches. One is the institutional-based and the other is non-institution or community-based. Both systems are being implemented on a fragmentary basis by three departments of the executive branch of the government. So, the institution-based correctional practices. Offenders found guilty and sentenced by the courts confinement are categorized based on their length of sentence into either a municipal, city, provincial, or national prisoner, and they will be sent accordingly to either a municipal, city, provincial, or national prison facilities based on these categories. National prisoners are also referred to under the law as insular prisoners. There are those whose sentence is more than 3 years, to include life sentence, and those meted with death penalty are sent to the Bureau of Corrections. Those sentenced to 6 months and 1 day of the 3 years of imprisonment are categorized as provincial prisoners and sent to serve the provincial jails having jurisdiction of their sentence. The courts and entities authorized to commit a person to prisons and jails are Supreme Court, Court of Appeals, Regional Trial Court, Metropolitan Municipal Trial Court, Municipal Circuit Trial Court, Board of Transportation, Deportation Board, Commission on Elections, National Prosecution Service, police authorities, all other administrative bodies as may be authorized by law. So the Bureau of Corrections, admission, conduct, and discipline of prisoners. A prisoner is a person who is committed by the court or the competent authority to be confined in a jail or prison. So a Supreme Court, Intermediate Appeal Court, Regional Trial Court, Sandigan Bayan, Military Courts, Syria Courts, other authorities that can commit a person to correction, the Congress, Commission on Election, Commission on Immigration and Deportation, Board of Pardon and Parole. Receiving prisoners. Upon arrival, the prisoner is ushered in the receiving office of the Inmate Reception and Education Center at the New Bilibid Prison, and other prisoners authorized to admit prisoners. The following documents shall be presented accordingly by the party escorting the prisoner: the commitment order of the court decision of the case, information filed by the city provincial fiscal, certification of detention if any. Thereafter, through routine inspection of articles in his possession is made. Unauthorized articles such as his identification as a prisoner is established by his rolled fingerprint card, his photograph, his prison number. Thereupon, he is taken to the quarantine cell and physically prepared for the following: staff interview on religious education, sociological and vocational matters, medical examination, psychological testing, initial security classification. Issuance of uniforms and other equipment. Each prisoner is provided with the following articles for which he is held responsible and accountable: 2 regulation uniform suits and 1 blanket, 1 mat and a pillow, 1 aluminum plate, 1 mosquito net. The prescribed color uniform shall be based on the prisoner's security status as follows: maximum security green, medium security gray, minimum security gray. Privileges available to prisoner upon admission as inmates: good conduct, time allowance to reduce his prison sentence, to write and send letters to his family and friends, to receive authorized visitors on any day except Fridays and Saturdays, to attend and participate in any or athletic competition in the facility, to read books and other reading materials in the prison library, to smoke cigar and cigarettes except in prohibited places, to receive gifts and prepared food from his visitors subject to inspection. General conduct: a prisoner must be clean and orderly at all times as his person, clothes, beddings, and dormitory. He must be given the opportunity to bath at least once a day, punctual in the performance of office duties, and observe of time of schedule and activities. Industrious in the performance of any work assigned to him. Industry is one of the important factor to be considered in the advancement of a prisoner and in recommending him or her for either parole or pardon. Truthful whenever questioned by prison personnel. To tell the truth in the face of possible punishment is an attribute which good men must possess. Honest in his dealing with his fellow prisoners and with prison personnel. A person trained in honesty is at peace with his conscience. General rules which prisoners shall observe. Ignorance of the rules and regulations will not be countenanced and considered an excuse for non-observance. All orders of prison authorities shall be obeyed without argument. In case of conflicting orders, the one given by the higher official shall be obeyed. A prisoner must be checked at any time. His beddings, lockers, personal belongings may be opened at any time in his presence whenever possible. Prohibitions. A prisoner is strictly prohibited from giving gifts, selling it to, or bartering with any prison personnel, making frivolous or groundless complaints, rendering personal service to a fellow prisoner, requiring personal services of a fellow prisoner, gambling and other related unauthorized activities, exchanging uniforms or wearing uniform other than those issued to him, using a telephone without approval by the superintendent. The disciplinary control effort shall be made instill in the minds of all prisoners the concept that self-discipline is an essential characteristic of a well-adjusted person. The following shall at least all times be observed. Disciplinary control shall be sufficiently firm to ensure the safety and good order of the institutional but shall not operate against the effectiveness of the treatment and training program of the inmates. Breaches in discipline shall be handled without anger or passion, and decision shall be reached and executed with firmness and justice. Republic Act 10575, an act on strengthening the Bureau of Corrections and providing funds therefore, be it enacted by the Senate and House Representatives of the Philippines in Congress assembled. Section 1, the short title. This act shall known as the Bureau of Corrections Act of 2013. So what is RA 10592 and how does it work? In May 2013, the President Benigno Noynoy Aquino signed 10592 amending Article 29, 94, 97, 98, and 99 on the RPC, which sought to expand the application of the GCTA to those under imprisonment of those detained prior and during criminal trial who are deemed to dangerous for release, and was enacted in 2013, amending RA 3815 or the Revised Penal Code. The law increased the duty of prisoners to be credited to the service of their sentence. Last June, the Supreme Court ruled that the law should apply retroactively. Some lawmakers, including Senate President Vicente Tito Soto, are calling for a review of the law. That's all. Thank you.